And we'll just answer this, sir. We don't know who you are, but do you have separate bank accounts for each property? So no, we do not, and no, we would never. So we got to
Well, we did at one time.
Yeah, property number 28 with 28 different bank accounts. Total nightmare. We were told, and so we followed the advice that it's best to do it that way because then all your accounting is built in for you. Your bookkeeping is practically done for you on the banking statement. Heck no. It was a major mess and then a major mess to get out of. So no, we don't. And you have to keep that money separate. Some people say that reserve fund doesn't have to be in a trust account. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be in a separate account at all. It just has to be available. You know, whether you've talked to your joint venture partners, you know, how you've structured your bank accounts for you to be able to write from it. Now, let's say you have $4,500 a month, or sorry, $4,500 in a reserve fund, but you've decided that you don't want, let's say your joint venture partner, your money partner says, well, I only want you to spend, like, if it's anything over $500 or anything over $1,000, like I want to know about it. Then there's also a line in there in your agreement that says, okay, the reserve fund is $4,500, but no one item can be paid for more than $500 or $900 or whatever threshold you set without talking to your joint venture partner. But reserve funds, guys, are for you. It's hard to ask a partner for a reserve fund. You're already asking them for lawyers' fees, closing costs, down payment money, all that stuff. But trust me, you can sleep at night a whole lot better knowing that there's 5 to 10 to 15 grand, whatever the number is, sitting there for if anything goes wrong. You don't have to go to your partners and be like, hey, so
you know what, and Liz's question ties in with this. Is an available line of credit okay for a reserve fund? That's fine for a property that you might be buying on your own. What you want to do, though, is what we're really talking about here is when you're buying a property potentially with partners where they're supplying the down payment, they're supplying the reserve fund. So we want to include that as part of the cash investment from them up front. We would much prefer that than having a line of credit or something at that point. If you're buying a property on your own and maybe you're paying the down payment out of a line of credit, then having a reserve fund set aside or a certain amount of the line of credit would be fine. But if you are working with partners, I would prefer cash so that, you know, they're not having to dip into it. I'm not having to make that phone call. They're not having to write a check, all of that kind of stuff.